Welcome everybody to the presentation from ALMAX. ALMAX is one of our exhibitors, so many thanks for that, Alan. And Alan is the president of ALMAX. Alan Burk is his name, by the way. And today he will tell us a bit more about smart keypads, making integration easier, customizable, and versatile. So, Alan, over to you.
Very good. Okay, what is a smart keypad? Well, to start with, this example is not a smart keypad. Noticing there are almost 30 I/O pins, it is obvious there is no built-in intelligence and therefore not a smart keypad. So how do we add intelligence to a keypad? This presentation will talk about that to create a smart keypad, using data transmission between keypad and the main processor, using serial communication protocols UART, I2C, or SPI, with 2 to 4 wires. And the key here is this, to remember. So a keypad that I showed on the first slide, I consider a passive keypad. And here it is again. Looking through the graphic overlay or from the back, you can see all of the circuitry involved to connect the I/O pins to each individual switch and each LED. And again, I'll be stressing this quite often, the amount of I/O pins required to communicate with the controller. This flex tail or I/O pins are 15 of them to communicate and turn on and off LEDs. This bottom flex tail of 12 pins for communicating and indicating switch closures. A smart keypad, however, and you might want to call it an active keypad, but for this presentation, refer to it as a smart keypad. And here's an example of a standard smart keypad that we manufacture, but with most everything we do is custom. And notice that there are only very few wires connected, communicating, and there are multiple keys and multiple LEDs on this sample as well. And here's another example of a passive keypad with rubber buttons, but again, noticing almost 25 I/O pins. And here's just a snapshot of the back of the keypad showing that flex tail connected to this circuit board. And here's a picture of the back of the smart keypad with a processor and supporting electronics and a connector for the wires. But you also could connect a flex tail as well, but notice how few pins the smart keypad will need to communicate with the main processor. Now, just to back up, just for basic 101 electronics, what is a resistive or passive resistive switch, so that we can then go forward to talk about the smart keypad. If I had a light bulb and a battery and a simple wiring of them together with a switch, and this is obviously the off condition, if I close the switch, voila, the light bulb turns on. Very easy. Now, if I replace this switch with a passive membrane switch, resistive keypad, and say I select to connect the wires to key number 2, and I press key number 2, I direct the current from the battery through key number 2 and back out again to turn on the light bulb. Again,